Here is your long, emotional, engaging story crafted exactly for a 40-minute YouTube video, with a strong hook, smooth pacing, emotional depth, and a motivational push for viewers to like and subscribe. Plain paragraphs, no headings, just a cinematic flowing narration. Stop scrolling, because what happens next will make you believe in fate again. Those were the first words viewers heard as the camera panned over an old, weather-worn house where a tired single dad was rushing home from work, unaware that his life was about to collide with someone running from a world he could never imagine. And before we begin, the narrator continued softly, "Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this story will stay with you long after it ends." Ethan Hale, a 32-year-old single dad, lived his life balancing hope and exhaustion like two fragile glasses in his palms. Ever since his wife passed away 3 years ago due to a sudden illness, he'd been raising his 6-year-old daughter Lily alone. The two of them lived in a small 2-room house at the edge of town, old, creaky, but full of warmth. Ethan worked long hours at a dusty warehouse, lifting crates until his arms shook, doing anything he could to keep the house, keep the lights on, and keep Lily smiling. But lately, the bills were getting heavier, and his body was getting weaker. One cold evening, a bright red notice appeared on his door, "Final warning." Rent was overdue again. Ethan sank onto the porch step, buried his face into his hands, and wondered how much more he could take. Lily came outside with her little pink blanket, wrapped it around his shoulders, and whispered, "Daddy, maybe something good will happen tomorrow." Her voice was so pure that for a moment, he let himself believe it. And something did happen, just not in any way he expected. That same night, miles away, a young woman with messy hair and swollen eyes stumbled through the dark streets with one hand on her belly. She was 8 months pregnant and trembling from exhaustion. Her name was Aria Vanderbilt, heiress to a billion-dollar empire, raised in a mansion full of rules, expectations, and cold luxury. She had run away from home 2 days ago after her father tried to force her into a marriage for business benefit. But Aria was done being an asset. She wanted her child to grow up free, not as a pawn. But freedom came with a price. She had nowhere to stay, no one to trust, and no idea how to survive outside the walls of her golden cage. Her cash had run out. Her phone battery had died. And the contractions she felt earlier were getting stronger. Desperate and freezing, Aria noticed a hand-written sign hanging from a small wooden fence, "Room for rent." Cheap. Her heart thudded. She walked toward the house with shaking legs. Inside, Ethan heard a soft knock at the door. He opened it expecting his neighbor or maybe the landlord, but instead, he found a shivering pregnant girl with fear in her eyes and mud on her shoes. "Please, I saw the sign," she whispered. "I need a place for the night. I'll pay. I just need to rest." Ethan blinked. He didn't usually let strangers in, especially not at night, but there was something about her, something fragile and lost. And then Lily peeked from behind him. "Daddy, she looks sad, can she stay?" That was all it took. Ethan nodded and stepped aside. "Come in. You look like you've been through hell." Aria stepped inside, warmth flooding her face for the first time in hours. The house was small but safe, with the smell of soup drifting from the kitchen. She felt tears sting her eyes. Ethan offered her the spare room, once his wife's art room, now mostly unused. Aria didn't touch her food until Lily sat beside her and said, "Don't worry. Daddy can fix anything. He'll take care of you too." Aria smiled weakly. "I hope so, because I'm not sure I can take care of myself anymore." That night, after Lily went to bed and Aria washed up, Ethan noticed her wincing in pain. He asked if she needed a hospital, but she stiffened instantly and begged not to go. I can't be seen. Not right now. Please." Ethan didn't understand but he didn't push. He simply brought her warm towels, extra pillows, and water. She stared at him as tears filled her eyes again. You're being so kind to me," she whispered. "You don't even know who I am." Ethan shrugged. "You're someone who needs help. That's enough." The next morning, Aria insisted on helping around the house. She cleaned, cooked, and folded laundry, though her body trembled at times. Lily grew attached to her quickly, giggling every time Aria read her stories or braided her hair. Little by little, Aria began to smile again, real smiles, not the polite ones she'd worn at charity galas. Ethan noticed that she often stared out the window as if the world was chasing her. He knew she was hiding something big, but he didn't ask. He had secrets too, like the rent deadline creeping closer, threatening to evict them both. Days passed, and Arya's presence filled the house with a warmth that had been missing since Ethan's wife died. One evening, as they washed dishes side by side, Arya asked gently, "Why do you always look so tired?" He chuckled weakly. "Because life is expensive, and I'm not rich. I'm just trying to keep my daughter safe. That's all I want." Arya swallowed hard. "Money isn't everything." "Maybe not," Ethan replied, "but it sure makes everything easier." Those words stabbed her heart. If only he knew. But not everyone believed in silent blessings. 2 days later, a black luxury car pulled up near the grocery store where Arya and Lily were buying snacks. Arya froze. The driver, her father's security personnel, was scanning the area with sharp eyes. Panic surged in her chest. "Arya." Lily tugged her hand. "What's wrong?" We need to go home, sweetheart," Arya said, forcing calm into her voice. Now. They hurried back, but the man had already seen them. He made a call, eyes following them. Arya felt her world collapse. She was running again, but this time, she had something to lose. Back at the house, Arya finally broke down. She confessed everything: her real name, her family, the billions, the oppression, the arranged marriage, the baby's father who abandoned her. Ethan just stared at her in shock. "So, you're a millionaire heiress living in my old house eating my burnt toast.